This stuff shouldn't really be possible on guitar. Just ridiculous. It's absurd. He is absurd. Yes, so Hairless here. We are back with the guitar genius himself, YAMANDU COSTA. This one I've picked from my list of reactions kind of at random. I did Google what Brejeiro means, and apparently it means impish or naughty, or according to Google Translate, prankster. We've seen it all with YAMANDU so far. We've seen crazy, we've seen absurd, we've seen insane, we've seen calm, we've seen slow, lovely, harmonically sensible, harmonically nonsensical, really everything. So if you want to see which YAMANDU videos we've done so far, my YAMANDU playlist will be in the description below. So with a song called Impish, I'm not quite sure what to expect, but whatever he does, I'm sure it will probably be quite fun. I can never fully prepare myself to watch his videos. It's been a while. Our last one, Sokolov Polka, that was in January. Now, at the time of recording, this is May, so 4 months ago, and the time before that was more months prior. It's just mental. It's just mental. As soon as I come to the realization what I'm witnessing, you know, this stuff shouldn't really be possible on guitar. I'm thinking about the rhythms, everything's so rhythmic. And then suddenly we get these really harsh clashes coming in, notes next to each other that just cause intense dissonance. Then it becomes super melodic. I'm not going to go over everything now. We'll carry on. Maybe I'll do 1 or 2 more pauses. But then at the end, I think we'll go through what we've heard so far and discuss in a bit more detail. Into the minor. The guy is a genius. From the videos we've seen previously, there have been some which are much more crazy, shall we say. Non-standard harmonies, much more kind of modern. And understandably, it's not everyone's cup of tea. Some of the other performances, though, really calm, very nice. And most of the comments I received on my videos to them were kind of saying how different they were to the previous ones. This performance is a bit of both, I think. So I am anticipating some comments saying, oh, it's a bit much, but also other comments saying, I really, really like this. As for me, I love it. It's a bit crazy, sure, but it's just ridiculous. It's absurd. He is absurd. So much going on in terms of the harmony, the rhythms, even the style, well, not even the style of playing, but the style of playing, you know, is he playing with muted strings or open strings? It's worth noting as well, I didn't say in the introduction, but this was apparently composed in 2001. So YAMANDU at the time would have been in his very early 20s. This video is from 6 years ago, so it's good that he's playing an older composition of his. Let's carry on till the end. We're about 2/3 of the way through. Yeah, I want to listen to it again, so I'm going to go and listen to it and just point out some of the more interesting things. Again, with his songs, there's just so much. If I went into the level of analysis that I do with some other songs that I do on this channel, by the time I'm done, it would probably be the year 2050. So let's not do that. First thing, I love the style of this video, the camera focusing in and out. We're getting such a good view of his hands, and we can't take this for granted. He is objectively, I think, one of the best guitar players in the world. 7-string guitar as well. It's a real privilege to be able to watch this playing this closely. It doesn't sound so mental or crazy, this introduction. Or maybe it does to you, but compared to some of the rest of this. But the complexity is crazy. The muted sound we're getting in the strings. Slowly becoming open, more resonant. He's having to mute these strings himself by applying pressure to them to stop them from vibrating. So far, he's only really played on the top 4 strings until now. Harmonically, nothing too crazy, but then we do get the clashes I was talking about earlier. At the same time. And then again, but now I think he's added in actually this note. So we had these two as before, but now he's added in. That is as much of a clash as you can get. 3 consecutive notes. The lovely falling, I'll call it a scale for simplicity's sake, in the lower strings. But notice how he's constantly returning to the same note in the upper strings. Constantly returning there. And in the left hand, I can call it a scale now because he literally played a descending A major scale. Down the octave, of course, but did you notice at the end, he added in a little chromatic note. Here. Chromaticism. If you've seen my other videos on Yamandu, in every one pretty much I always mention that I think he loves chromaticism. He loves implementing it. It adds so much character to the music and contributes so much to this modern, funky, harmonic sound. Simply what chromaticism is just consecutive notes. If we went from here to here, that's not chromatic because there are notes in between. So we get the chromatic end to this scale. Which is teasing us because the bit that follows, that bit that we've just heard, a very jumpy, happy, impish motif. We hear it throughout the rest of the song many times. We always return to it. It's like our home comfort. It's overwhelmingly major, so it has happy vibes. And the name of the song, Brejeiro, taking impish as the translation. Impish to me is a half negative word. Imps, they're like little pests, aren't they, really? But if someone is impish, I imagine they have a lot of energy, a bit cheeky, which is exactly what this music is. It's fluttering between minor and major, energetic, soft, calm. This is a really lovely melodious motif. The second half of it here, so groovy, it just makes you want to cha-cha-cha-cha. Notice the stress on the chordal playing now. It's all about that plucking the notes at the same time. Structurally, Yamandu will be repeating this section. So what does he do to break up the repeats? These virtuosic runs, which do contain, again, chromaticism. It's so quick we can hardly hear it, but it's there. If you enjoy these videos or find them helpful, please consider supporting me. Patreon has a bunch of exclusive benefits, behind the scenes videos, additional reaction content, Q&A videos, and more. For a one-time donation, you can donate me a hot chocolate at the Buy Me a Coffee link, or become a YouTube member for these groovy emojis and membership badges. And a huge thank you to these lovely people on the screen now. We saw earlier there was the descending scale in A major. A is the key of this piece. Why it works so well, as we just heard then, another falling run right to the bottom, the depths of the guitar, is because it's a 7-string guitar. We have this added range compared to your usual 6-string guitar at the bottom. Down in that 7th string, what is that 7th string? An A. So the lowest note he can play on this guitar is this A, our home note, because the key of this piece is A. Another virtuosic moment coming up, and I think we'll probably need to watch it in slow-mo, just as a sign of appreciation. Into that chromatic slide where he's literally just sliding up the fretboard. All right, let's watch that in slow-mo now. This is half speed. Even at half speed, that would just be difficult to play. But that was a valuable exercise as well in terms of thinking about the rhythms. For that passage, these quick passages, he's thinking in threes. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, rather than our common time. Bum, bum, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So intrinsically, the rhythmic structure is changed a little bit. And I think we can all agree it adds a certain level of energy to the performance through these, well, the variety that we get in so many different ways. Ah, we're still in A, but now we're in minor. So the third note, 1, 2, 3, is what determines if we are in minor or major. We started off in the major. That motif I said keeps returning, bum, ba, da, da, is outlining the A major triad. But now minor, sadder. Much more emphasis on the lower strings of the guitar now. Again, there was the scale down. That's not the major scale, right? That's the minor scale. Still chordal like we had before, changing from staccato, disjointed, cha, 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 to now a bit smoother, a bit more legato. I love his face there. Let's watch that again. The one thing that will never fail to astound me is his composure. He just sits looking calm, playing the most complicated guitar music in the world. It really is mental. It really is mental. A rare moment of playing multiple parts in octaves with each other. So the same notes, just in different octaves, unison, strengthening that one melodic idea before then going straight back into harmony. The harmony now is peculiar. It's strange. He's shifting very, very rapidly between, just think of like different harmonic bases. It's not a major or a minor. It's very, very fluid now. We're not really sure where he's going. It's unpredictable. He's mixing chromaticisms with regular harmony. Back to that home motif, our comfort, A major. Bum, 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 bum. That effect as well. Yeah, lovely name. Any native Portuguese speakers, do let me know what the actual translation of Brejeiro is, if it's impish or naughty or prankster or something else not directly translatable into English. If it's any of those three, I think it's a perfect title, to be honest. The music seemed to create a whole story in my head. I really enjoyed it. Some was more crazy than other parts, which I like. It was just unexpected. I think Yamandu is seriously unbelievable, phenomenal guitar player, stupendous playing, a genius. I've called him a genius probably in every video I've done, and I will continue to do so. And on top of that, seems like a lovely and humble guy as well. So if you do like his songs, do go and check them out on his channel, give him a like, all that kind of stuff. And as always, thank you for watching. Would appreciate a like, subscribe if you haven't, comment down below other songs by Yamandu you'd like me to do videos on, and I will see you next time.